In just 2 days, on October 12th, Peacock debuts a brand new 2-part docuseries exploring the a little bit of both, exploring the 90s cultural phenomenon known as Barney and Friends and the public backlash that soon followed the Purple TV Dinosaurs' massive success. It's called I Love You, You Hate Me. Let's take a look at the trailer.
It just exploded nationwide.
It was a cultural phenomenon.
What color is happier than purple? No color.
This is Barney, and this is what he sounded like.
Barney stands for inclusion, acceptance.
You should love everyone. We all have Cheryl Leach to thank for that.
As her beloved character was heading into the stratosphere, people couldn't accept that this was just a show, and so let the bashing begin.
Some of the rumors that I heard, Barney hides drugs in his tail.
They were violent and explicit.
Death and dismemberment of my family.
I love you, Barney.
They were going to come and find me, and they were going to kill me.
Just the dark side of this whole moment. That must have devastated Cheryl.
There was something larger going on here.
I don't think you could ever think somebody would go and shoot someone.
Yes, that was the uplifting that we needed right there. Liz and I are a little too old to have been in Barney's demo, but Kwam, did you watch Barney as a kid?
Oh, for sure. Barney was a staple when I was in my adolescence. When I was probably what? I guess the earliest I can remember watching Barney would be probably 4 or 5, maybe even younger than that. But yeah, no, it's funny because as I got older, Barney was something to riff on because it's when you're kids, when you're a younger kid, you're just oh, everything is corny now and this is so cheesy. But it was we were completely oblivious to the hate that it was getting, actual hate that it was getting from the older demographic. I mean, we all just thought it was just funny to make jokes about Barney and change the song a little bit to be more drug inspired. But I didn't think anyone actually hated Barney. How could you hate Barney? He literally says, "Come give me a hug," and he says, "I love you and you love me." I mean, as a grown adult, it does sound a little bit creepy telling that to kids, but the message he's trying to preach, I can see how it's just positive. It's saying let's love your neighbor, which we all should do. So I don't know why people hate Barney.
Well, it's interesting to look back at some of the TV shows or movies that we loved as kids and now as adults think about, as you said, the impact that they had on our lives and also the world around us, pop culture, what we talked about in school, what we talked about with our parents, what we loved, the kind of things that raised us. For example, I was a massive fan growing up of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They were my absolute favorite thing. I was even part of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fan club. And when I was in, you got a box.
Yes.
Nerd.
Yes.
Card. I know.
You did.
When I was in 4th grade, it's kind of where they really debuted and got really hot. And every single day, my friends and I would pretend to be Power Rangers during recess. Everyone wanted to be the Green or White Ranger. No one ever wanted to be stuck being Billy, the Blue Ranger. And then I would come home and I'd watch the new episode of Power Rangers on Fox. And I remember going to school and talking to people about the Green Ranger and when Tommy and Kimberly ended up in a romance, and when Lord Zed showed up and he got married to Rita Repulsa. It was things we talked about in school. And my obsession with Power Rangers got to the point where I wanted to actually learn to fight just like them. So my parents took me to an open house at a local karate school. And I'll never forget that after we watched a class, the owner of the school was talking to my parents and I, and he said, totally unprompted, quote, "I'm not here to teach kids how to be Power Rangers." And I was like,
wow.
And I never went back. I never took classes. Even in my little kid mind, I was like, screw this guy. That's why I'm here. But I don't even think I realized that it influenced me to want that.
I love
But the influence the show had in the 90s, I found a 1995 newspaper article doing some research from the Baltimore Sun about the increased interest in martial arts. And the founder of a karate school named Joe Palazzo was quoted as saying that kids were flocking to martial arts classes, quote, because they wanted to be Power Rangers or something like that. That's what gets them going, gets them interested. The kids don't even have a TV in their home, but they all know who the Power Rangers are, who the Ninja Turtles are. And yeah, he was right. Because the original live-action Ninja Turtle movie premiered in 1990. The Power Rangers debuted in 1993. And then within years, we had tons of new martial arts-based films, a lot of which were aimed at kids. You had The Next Karate Kid, starring Hilary Swank, Three Ninjas, Surf Ninjas, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. And I'd say the Power Rangers were a cultural phenomenon on par with Barney to some extent, but wasn't quite as loathsome ultimately. And despite some like problematic issues around costume colors and which actors they were assigned to, I'd say OG Power Rangers still hold up. It's like great, campy fun. It's got a diverse cast. It dealt with issues of friendship and teamwork and discipline, good and evil, like all really like positive stuff for a kid, teenager. And it's still a lot of fun to watch as an adult, and you can binge all 145 episodes on Netflix. It was only 3 seasons of 145 episodes.
Wow.
And if you're looking for like somewhere to start, I also built a collection of the 25 greatest Power Ranger episodes, the best episodes sorted by Ranger, and the 16 best villains, which you can find if you say best of the Power Rangers into your voice remote. That is best of the Power Rangers. And you'll find my own like personal nerd moment. I just went rogue. I just built this beautiful little collection tribute to the Power Rangers. It's out there. So that's my long-winded rant.
Wow. The beautiful collection of the Power Rangers.
Thank you.
I love
Liz, did this Barney docuseries have you reflecting on any of the shows you loved as a kid?
Yeah, but you know what? I think I went in a little bit of an opposite direction. I think I went from something that I don't think that I appreciated enough as a kid, and then really love now and almost wish, I think that we're missing it again. And, you know, my pick was The Reading Rainbow. And here's a show that I'm really dating myself here, guys, right? I'm picking a song from 1983. Now here's a show that came out in 1983. Like, it must have been a really pivotal year for Liz at the very ripe age of 6 years old, right? Like, I guess that's everything I remember in life. But, you know, this was a show, LeVar Burton, who hosted this show for over 20 years. I think about like 26 years it was on the air. And I remember as a kid watching this PBS, right? Because we had one of these TVs. And so it was like 3, 6, 10 box, and then you had to go all the way around. So on Channel 12 for us on PBS, we watched The Reading Rainbow. And I think what is so pivotal about this show is that what it was created for was to really help with that summer gap, right? Like they really, when it's proven that when kids are out of school for those 3 months, they really do like lose some reading skills. And so this was created for that, for the kids to watch over summer, sort of like a summer camp, if you will, but like at home, talking all about reading and trying to get kids to be interested and upskill their reading. It even got to the point where we watched this at school. So fun fact, it was like the #1 most viewed television show within classrooms. And so we watched it in school. And maybe that's why I felt I didn't appreciate it as much, because it felt very educational. It felt like we had to watch this. And as I got older, as much as I didn't like it when I was younger, I can appreciate, from where this show was created, the reason behind it, and knowing that that this and programming like this could continue to help our children, and especially, you know, during all of our quarantining time, you know, we could have been watching Reading Rainbow, and I didn't even think of that. But yeah, 26 years on the air, not bad.
I don't think picking this show dates you, but I think calling it The Reading Rainbow is dating you there, Grandma. You watching The Reading Rainbow?
Oh, you're right. It's because of the song. And I'm not going to sing it because I'm not the singer of this show. That is you, David. And I know you know the song. Everybody knows the song. And at the end, it's The Reading Rainbow.
I don't know if they even say that. I don't even know if they say that in the song. Do they?
I'm pretty sure they do. I'm pretty sure they do.
I always loved this show. First of all, it's a beautiful photo of LeVar Burton just looking so handsome above The Reading Rainbow. And I always loved that it showed like kids giving book recommendations. Like as a kid, it always made you feel like, okay, this kid likes this book. Like I'm a kid, I can like this book too. And it was really smart. LeVar Burton always used to say, but you don't have to take my word for it. And then threw it to the kids telling you about the books. And Kwame, I don't know if they did this still when you were in school, but they had like the Scholastic book order things that you could. Yeah, that was like
the book fairs. Oh my gosh.
There is a meme out there right now on social media that says my toxic trait of buying things that I didn't need started with the Scholastic.
It definitely did.
Because we came home and was like, Mom, somebody, I need some money.
You circled what you wanted.
Yep.
Yeah. And it was like kind of a perfect, they had like kind of a perfect like business plan going there between Reading Rainbow and Scholastic. They told us about the books on Reading Rainbow, and then we were like seeing them on this little paper and circling them. And I don't know if LeVar got any kickbacks from Scholastic, but he should have. He should have gotten some money for that.
Yes, because I know I came home and I was like, I'm gonna need $35.27. Right?
Yes, exactly.
Fair. My mom would look at me like I was crazy.
You're dropping some loose change into an envelope with your order paper.
For sure.
Oh
I
man,
love it.
Flashbacks.
What about you, Kwame?
Yeah, tell us, Kwame. What are you thinking about?
Okay, well, similar to Liz, going into an opposite direction of you, David, where it's a show that I didn't like as a kid because I was so in love with The Fresh Prince. I felt like there could be no other show that competes with The Fresh Prince, and kids at school be like, "You don't watch Martin?" And I'm like, "No, I watch The Fresh Prince only because Will Smith is the best." But as I got older, I realized that I was being very stupid because Martin is a great show. Classic. Oh my God, classic. Martin is a classic show, and I feel so dumb for ever trying to deny its greatness in its heyday. And I could have been right along with the kids, making the references, and nope. Now I had to be like living out my whole adolescent life not watching Martin, and then now I'm like going back to Martin and rewatching Martin. I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. I'm pretty dumb, but yes, Martin is such a great show, and I wish I did watch it as a kid. It's a 90s staple. It's a 90s staple.
You're making me want to go back and rewatch them, but I was definitely watching, and this was like the era when you were like, oh, it's coming on at what time? Like you were sitting in front of the TV waiting for the show to come on. Classic. And thank you for bringing up Martin, because I think I'm going to need to do some Martin watching this weekend. It was classic. Gina, they're just all the relationships. They were, and he's so funny.
Oh my gosh, so funny. I love the toxic relationship between him and Gina, and then also her friend. I'm blanking on her friend's name.
Pam.
What's her friend's name?
It's Pam.
Pam. Oh my gosh. Because it's funny because we all have a friend. Like if you've been in a relationship and like it's that one friend you don't like, but you like kind of like, I gotta like you, but we really don't like each other. Yes. Oh gosh. We all have a Pam in our life, and you need a Pam in your life, to be honest. And maybe a Gina too.
You say so.
I miss like 90s TV key art where they all went to like Sears to get a portrait, and they just stuck a box in the middle and they all posed around it. Like that's what like Saved by the Bell was. Like they had like a forest backdrop, like you were getting your school photos or like a Christmas card. Yeah, they just all posed back to back there. That's what I miss.
Martin is the real G in the middle, right? Like all.
Oh yeah. Everyone else is in
out.
black, but he's in the white sweater.
Yeah.
You know, he's got to stand out because he's Martin.
I love it. Love it.
Well, you can check out all the shows we just talked about and so much more by saying what to watch into your voice remote.